Well, hello everybody and welcome to Belgian Waffle Ride San Diego. This is our 12th edition of this event, and I'm really excited to have you with us here as we're going to have an opportunity to meet a lot of the men and the women who have a massive impact on this event. We're recording this, so for anybody who's joining us from around the world, I wish that you could be here with us. This event has become an institution in North American racing, and one of the ways that you can really feel that now is by the international presence that we've got at Belgian Waffle Ride. This is the highest level of on-road racing on the planet today, and this event here in San Diego is absolutely the linchpin of the Belgian Waffle Ride season. We started in Arizona. We'll have a chance to talk to a few of our athletes who were there racing with us, but now it's time for the granddaddy of the Belgian Waffle Rides. Here we go, launching the event on Sunday. Again, the 12th edition is in full effect. My name is Dave Toll. I'm happily joined by my colleague Jim Miller in the announcing booth, but what we're about today is meeting some of the international stars. We'll have 3 waves here. As I said, the international group will be first. We'll follow that with our North American men, and then the third group will be our North American women's field. So that being said, I'm going to start by bringing up some of the athletes, and we really are honored to having them joining us here racing starting on Sunday morning. But let's bring up first certainly a man who has been pivotal in the growth of on-road and gravel racing here in North America. 15 times he has finished a Grand Tour, the Vuelta, the Giro, and the Tour de France. A top 10 in the Vuelta in his career. Let's bring up now an all-time favorite, noted hard man, Laurens ten Dam. Come on up, Laurens. Laurens, perfect, and we've got a seat for you right down at the end of the table, so welcome back. Are you flying in from where, Laurens? From the Netherlands. Amsterdam, so Schiphol Airport, straight here to join us in San Diego. So that's Laurens ten Dam. Now, we had invited the Australian Freddie Ovett, but I don't know that I've seen Freddie yet, but we'll ask Freddie when he comes to join us here. We wanted to get going as I know everybody's on a tight timeline here for Belgian Waffle Ride weekend. Well, the breakout winner of Unbound in 2022, let's meet one of the phenoms in our field, Ivar Slik. Come on up, Ivar is the Unbound champion from last year. The champ is in the house. And now, if you're not familiar with European beach racing, you will be soon. As I would only imagine that Michael Marks is gearing up a beach race for this winter somewhere here on the California coast. This is the 2-time Dutch national beach racing champion, and now moving into the world of on-road. Let's bring up another one of the Dutch strongmen, Jasper Okkeloorn. Welcome to America, Jasper. And now a man who certainly, if you're a cycling fan, this is one of the greatest names in the sport. He's an Irish Olympian, a multi-time Tour de France, let's just say one of the biggest stars of the sport. Joining us now is commentator, 22-time Grand Tour finisher, it's Nico Roach. Good to see you, Nico. Nico joined us in Arizona as well, so awesome to have Nico with us. And now, if there was a breakthrough rider to watch, someone who's going to come out of the woodwork for us here at Belgian Waffle Ride, go ahead and write this name down in pen. 6-time Australian gravel national champion. He's a mountain bike champion as well. He might not be here, probably traveling with friends. No, there he is. It's Brendan Johnston. Welcome, champ. So, that's some good Australian energy already coming off you. So that leaves now one more rider to bring up. We talked about our international group. I feel like he's been a part of our family for a long time. This is a man who had a huge win in the Belgian Waffle Ride World in Kansas. Come on up, the jukebox star. This is Adam Robert, the pride of Quebec, Canada. Just the human maple syrup.
about right.
All right, so perfect, guys. Thank you all for joining us. Lawrence. Yeah, you know what? We do have some seats in here if anybody would like to come and join us, but if you're happy where you are, that table looks quite nice. I would not move if I were you guys. But if anyone wants to come join us under the tent, absolutely. You know, I think that the smart bike racer always sits instead of stands. And if you can't lie down, I think you do that. But we don't have any air mattresses. Lawrence, isn't that one of the World Tour Pro things? Never stand when you can sit, never sit when you can lie down, right? You got to put the legs up. Yes. So you know what? I'm going to let you guys. Oh, is that working? Great. Good. Hey, how was your trip to America, Lawrence?
So far, so good. Happy to be here.
Awesome. It's got to be nice to have the event organizer come pick you up at the airport.
Yeah. No, he picked me up at the hotel. I got a ride from Michael, yeah.
So, hey, you left the World Tour a few years ago, and you really have been, I would say, you know, that term influencer gets used all the time, but you really have helped us sort of find our identity with this style of racing, whether it's gravel or on-road, and there's a difference, obviously, between what we're talking about. But at this point in your career, it's got to be interesting. I mean, passion seems like what it's all about for you.
Oh, for sure it is. You know, like my career's actually I had my career already, and now I just race for fun and be away, travel around and have fun all around with the people around me who travel with me. So that's cool.
When you hear about the Dutch Mafia, does it make you smile?
Yeah, this week it's the Dutch Mafia. Last year I took also the family a few times, you know, so I hope my little kids turn into Dutch Mafia too someday. And no, it's just about being around, meeting new people, seeing old friends, and ride bikes as fast as you can on race day.
Now your kids will tell their friends at school, my dad's in the Mafia.
Yeah.
Right.
Now my kids are pretty jealous because I booked, for example, for next week I booked tickets for the Oakland A's, and they're really into baseball. I told them I was going to the Padres tonight, but at the end I won't make it, I think. But so they're jealous with me being in the US because they love it. They love being here too, but they have to go to school. Somebody has to work at home, you know. And unfortunately for them, it's them.
So they're talking about now this phenomenon of all the Dutch riders that are coming over. And you obviously, like the gentleman sitting right next to you, what is your pitch when they ask you about racing on coming to Belgian Waffle Ride?
So I'm really happy to be here finally. Back in the days in 2016, people were already telling me stories about this race. It was even before I knew about something like Unbound, or back then it was Dirty Kansas, because I was racing grasshoppers in Northern California. And they told me to come here, and I didn't make it back then in 2016 because obviously also family stuff or whatever. I was not feeling like traveling down the coast for 500 miles to do this race, while I was still World Tour. But now I'm here, and I did the course yesterday. I was a little bit terrified, you know, hitting the first single track section, and now I know where's all the fuss about. So looking forward to the race day Sunday. Yeah.
There's a lot of reverence. This will be my final question for you here. I know we have to move through this quickly, but you know, the Americans have this thing about European racing, obviously Holy Week going on. This is really, really different. I mean, when you try to describe Belgian Waffle Ride to your friends back in Holland, how do you do that?
Yeah, so before I saw the race course yesterday, I told them like it's like the Southern California thing of a Belgian classic. But in hindsight, when I saw the parcours, I think it's more of a it's still more of a California thing than a Belgian thing. You know? I done races in Belgium. I done Tour Flanders myself, but it's not like this. It's not like a single track jumping down. I was with road pedals. I regret putting on my road pedals, you know, because I had to walk some stuff. And in Belgium, you don't have to walk unless you're on a Koppenberg, you know. So it's more technical than I thought, but it's a challenge. It really feels like one of the grasshopper races I did back in 2016 and fell in love with. I fell in love with the unroad thing and with the vibe around drinking the beers afterwards, you know. And let's bring it on.
Thanks for coming, Lawrence.
No worries.
Could you pass the microphone to Jasper for me?
Course.
Jasper,
the big favorite.
Okay, good. Jasper, beach racing. We've been joking a little bit about sand here. Is that what you're looking forward to?
Yeah. There were some sandy sections. That was nice. It was, of course, a lot different with the smaller tires. In Holland, we use like 60 mil tires on the beach, and now with 35, it's different, but still nice and challenging.
This is Jasper Okelund that we're talking with, a national cross-country marathon champion. The distance at all daunting for you here? And I'm wondering if you were worried about heat as well, the temperature for racing. It doesn't look like that's going to be a problem.
No, it's not that hot. And like last year, I did also some longer gravel races, like gravel locos and unbound. So I think the distance is also be okay.
What do you know about the Americans and well, let's even say the North Americans in this race? Do you have, you don't have to tell me who, but do you have guys that you are going to be watching very closely?
Yeah, for sure. I think the mountain bike riders like Vermeulen and Vince de Walt are going to be good in the technical sections. So yeah, it's going to be nice.
Very good. And so coming over here to California, have you been to the United States before?
Yeah.
Vacationing or racing?
Both. So last year I was with my girlfriend who was racing with Jumbo Visma. We visited the headquarters of Cervelo in Laguna Beach. And before I did racing in Kansas and Texas.
Ever had an In-N-Out burger?
No.
Okay. I gotta teach you. Lawrence, what's going on with the? Yeah. All right.
Just say yes.
Good luck, Jasper. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Hey, so Ivar Slik winning Unbound. Tell me about that experience for you. They really weren't ready for you there, were they?
Yeah, that was a really nice experience, and yeah, it changed a few things in my life. Everything became a little bit easier, and now I'm here. It's a beautiful area, and I'm curious to see how the race will be.
Yeah, so racing in America, having that kind of success, is that a life changer for you, that win?
Yeah, I didn't expect it was so big also in Europe, because when I came back, I was also invited for talk shows on TV, on live televisions. And so they heard about it, and they thought it was a really cool story, and that really surprised me, and was a nice experience.
It's been extremely fun for all of the people that work with Monuments of Cycling to have riders like Remco Evenepoel come over and do the Kansas event. We've had a very interesting roll call of riders, and I put your name right on the list, but you come to win, obviously, here. How well do you know the course?
Yeah, we did a reckon of the whole course, so I know it in my head. And yeah, it's difficult from inbound. You have a lot more corners and way more technical, but yeah, it's also a beautiful surrounding here if you compare it with Kansas. So so that's yeah, I'm curious how it will go, the race, but
it's very American of you throwing shade on Kansas. So
yeah, I don't have to say too much, but
no, I get it. So
California is good. It's, nice
I think we all feel that. So there's no doubt that if you look around the world, there's probably not a nation that has embraced the bicycle more than Holland. I think that your culture and bicycles go together. Is that an advantage for all of you guys, having been riding since you were 4 years old and knowing your bikes and the equipment? And because that's a huge part. You're not in the world tour anymore, right, Lawrence? You got to fix your own bike out there. How big? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind if you jumped in. I mean, how much of a difference does it make being a Dutch kid?
Yeah, you learn to ride bikes since you're like 2 years old, you know. So
you all can fix a tire.
Yeah, but my kids bike to school every day, in and out. Like every day they ride bikes, you know. They go to the sport, like to sports teams or training, sports practice. They use bikes, so it's part of our culture. It's part of our daily routine, riding bikes. And then racing bikes is of course something else, but somehow, somewhere, we got some good Dutch guys also racing the World Tour, you know?
Yeah.
I think that has something to do with it.
I hear you. So, all right, let's pass the microphone down to Nico. So, Nico, you can talk about quality or you can talk about quantity. Ireland, maybe not a ton of riders in the World Tour, but the ones we have are pretty damn good, aren't they?
Yeah, especially the new generation, like with Sam Bennett and all these Eddie Dunbar. They're flying green jersey in the Tour a couple of years ago, so we've had always a couple of riders there for the last 20 years, but it's good to be represented as a small nation, but still having riders, you know, competing in the Tour de France at a high level.
So it's been an absolute honor having you with us. You've seen that with all of our staff, how much we enjoy your presence here. You, before you ever came to Belgian Waffle Ride, what was the catalyst to get you here? I'm very curious what would intrigue you to come race in the United States.
So I started gravel, not racing, but gravel riding just last year before the tour with my brother. And I said, oh, I like this. And then I started looking at the calendar. I did an event in Europe, in Sweden, where I raced for the first time against Jasper. And I was like, oh, I want to go and see the real deal in the States. And then eventually I hooked you guys on social media, asked a bit of details if I could come over to Kansas. You guys welcomed me with arms open, and I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to this now.
That's great. When is the Nico Roach gravel race going to happen? And I'd love to come, right? We'll do it in Dublin?
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be Dublin. It'd be probably somewhere furthest down south in Ireland where it's more rural. But I have it in the back of my mind.
Okay, County Cork, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, nice. You know what? It's funny. I joke, but I don't joke. It seems like it would be perfect. Nico, now this one, I call it the linchpin of the Belgian Waffle Ride series. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I don't know. Everyone was telling me how this was more for roadies and this and that. And then this morning I did the course and I was like, where's the road bit? Why those sharp rocks all over the place? Why did I have to dismount my bike about 5 times on a 3-mile sector? And it's like, I'm not getting this riding 32 slicks now. So I'm gonna change my tire tactics this afternoon after doing some of the recon today. But it definitely is part of the fun, and this why this race is so special, or the whole series of races, is because it's not your typical gravel race, and everyone knows that you can't expect anything really. Nothing's for granted when you come to these races. It's a bit of everything, and you just have to adapt, and this is what it's all about.
Nicholas does the coverage for Tour de France on NBC Sports. You'd be able to listen to the world feed and hear his analysis. I'm definitely curious now. We get so much out of that coverage. When you made the transition from road into this gravel, unroad world, did you have to relearn a lot of things?
Completely. And it's so frustrating because you start. I don't physically have the time to train as much as I want to, but my mind is still making me want to go as deep as possible. So I take every race seriously because I don't know how to do other. My fun is in having sore legs and a big grimace on my face, but to my own extent and in my own training. So it's great to have enough time where I can train to be fit, but obviously it's quite frustrating where I wish I could train more. But a bit like Lau, cycling is behind us. I'm just competitive, and I need to get that pain to be competitive.
Nicolas,
I'm not in the...
You were also spoiled back in the days. Now you have to arrange everything yourself, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That's the big difference.
It's like,
you know?
Before you just rock up and,
Bikes were ready. they carry your suitcase.
Guys sponging you off.
It's going.
Now it's booking hotels, rented cars, managing your own food, but it's a whole new thing, especially when you're traveling from Europe. Because, when you're coming to these races, and assistance is key in some races, trying to find and hunt for people locally to be able to give you a hand for water bottles or for spare wheels. Obviously, footage is so important as well. So there's a lot of things that you have to look after, and it's almost being a little own manager of a team, of your own kind of team.
But, that's one of the brilliant things that Lawrence has done, has been so nice to everybody that people help you all the time. It's a nice way to fool people, right? I'm just kidding. So, all right. Hey, we are going to move now. So this is our international table, and I am stoked to have you with us, Brendan Johnston. What were you expecting when you showed? Have you been to California before, Brendan?
Yeah, I've been to California before, but sort of just transitioning through, and not for cycling so much. I didn't cycle here. I was in doing some mountain bike World Cups back in the day. But yeah, to be honest, I wasn't. Once I saw the course yesterday, I wasn't expecting that. That's for sure. I'd seen some of the footage and had a look at some of the videos, but I mean, yeah, and all the chat around the small tires and stuff, and some of the sections, I'm like, Jesus, like this is not what I'm used to, Like I'm fine to do it, but in Oz we don't have that sort of mix in our gravel racing. It's more like you get onto the gravel roads and that's kind of it, and then you sort of come back. You don't transition onto single track and back to road, so it's super different, and actually I really love it.
Yeah. So I had to ask my colleague Jim when I showed up what edition this was. This is the 12th Belgian Waffle Ride ever. Is there anything close to this in Australia? Is there an on-road gravel scene there?
Yeah, it is, and it's really building. there's a really cool one which takes like a road version of the Melbourne to Warrnambool, which is like a really 270 kilometre road race, but now they've got a gravel edition. So I've actually won both of those, which was pretty cool. I won the inaugural gravel edition, and yeah, it's something like that's really cool where you're transitioning from one spot to another. But certainly it's not like this. There's no single track. It's all like, I think we average like 35k an hour, where I think maybe on Sunday it's only 30 or less.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, in the category of ridiculous questions, right? Do you think you can win this race? But I mean, when you come here to Belgian Waffle Ride, you have to respect the history of the event, and riders obviously like Peter Stettner here. What kind of a chance do you give yourself to find the podium?
I mean, it's hard. I only got here a few days ago from Australia, or a couple of days ago. So it's sort of kicking off my year. I'm going to be here all year with the Lifetime Series. So yeah, I mean, the family comes over later in the year, and for me, this is kind of just to get in and get a test with Sea Otter next week. And I thought, you know, this looks so cool, all the videos I'd seen. Why not come and give it a crack and you know, see how you guys do it here? And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. I've trained pretty well. I think the dynamic nature of this sort of race, like, it doesn't suit one person, you know, like maybe at one point it does, but there's so much to kind of get throughout the day. So it's kind of a, you know, an all-rounders day, I think.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot, and thanks for joining us here. Good luck. All right, Adam, are you glad to be with the international group and not the Americans?
Am I glad? I don't know if that's.
Do you feel, is this the right group for you?
Is this the right group for
Yeah.
me? Maybe they should answer. Am I welcome, guys, with you guys, or maybe?
Of course you are.
Yes, I think Canada's very
yes.
popular. So, hey, you've been coming on strong. You really don't miss the podium out here. Is this going to be, if you can nail this one down, the biggest win of your career?
Yeah, it would be. I think this race is probably in the top 3 of the biggest races of the year. And it's so weird of a race. The guys are talking about a lot of the rocky single track, but there's so much road that it's very different of everything else, because those climbs with big tires, they're just not fun. So that's why it's such a weird thing.
They talk so much, Adam, and again, this is the Canadian winner in Kansas at the end of our season last year, Adam Roberge. Adam, they talk about so much in the Belgian the classics about experience. If you've done the race multiple years, you know where the wind is going to be coming from. How much is your experience going to be a difference maker for you out here?
So last year I missed it because of a concussion, so I didn't do it. So I'm not too familiar with all the modification they did, because I did it 2 years ago, but my understanding is that it changed a lot. So I'm familiar with all the single track that are close to here. But maybe a little bit more gravel. It for sure helps. Yeah, doing a race for the first time, especially a gravel race, you're not losing any watts or any strategy point, but there's really something about knowing what's coming that's helping, especially on a long day like that. Yeah.
So when you look at the scene over the last 5 years, and I felt like Belgian Waffle Ride has been a huge part of this growth, do you feel the level still going up? I mean, I feel like the Dutch riders are maybe answering that question for me.
Yeah, I feel like 3 years ago was kind of the start of that whole thing, taking some traction with the professional coming from mountain bike or road. And I think, yeah, every year it's just getting just a little bit stronger, sometimes a lot stronger depending on the race. I think Belgian Waffle Ride has been a big race for kind of a long time, so I feel like the level was, at least from what I entered, it was already high. Other races, like, it would be easy to win, and now it's really hard to win. I feel like Belgian Waffle Ride, especially for the last 3 or 5 years, has been a race that's hard to win anyway.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's one of those. Not only is it hard to finish, it's hard to win. I would say. So very quickly, guys, I'm going to pass the mic back down for you, Brendan. Or actually, one quick question for you, Brendan, if we could. Anything less than a top 5 going to be slightly disappointing for you here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I travelled a long way, so Australia is not close. yeah, I guess that's why I'm here.
Nico, who are you competing against? Is it against yourself? I mean, can you win this race outright?
No, I don't think I can win, but I'll be happy with a top 10.
A top 10 would be nice. Okay, good.
Reasonable.
Ivar, you look like you came here to do one thing, and that would be win Belgian Waffle Ride. How excited would you be if you can post up at the finale?
Yeah, I always race to win, but yeah, we will see. It's for me, it's a little bit a question mark, but I think I'm in a good shape, and it can be. But top 3 is also satisfied.
Sounds good. Hey,
playing.
Jasper, they say in order to win, you have to risk losing. Do you follow what I'm saying? It's going to be an interesting day out there. Are you ready to go big?
Yeah, I really like the course and try to go for the win, yeah.
Awesome. Lawrence, all Dutch podium. Is it a dream?
Oh yeah, that would be really cool. To take all the money home.
Well, I tell you what, yeah, book the trifecta on an all Dutch podium, right. Hey guys, I'm going to let you go enjoy California. Have a burrito for me. Thanks a lot to our international group. We're going to be back then with our U.S. men's.